It's time for the big boys.
The premier class.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.
.450 class. So again here, we have what we believe to be top 20-ish guys, right? We put it in quotes, top 20-ish guys. We're going to go through team by team just like we did with the 250 class.
Well, one thing though, let's make a note. Some of these names you're probably thinking are missing. Keep in mind, some guys are hurt and some of them, their injuries are more extensive. And there are guys that are going to Canada, Michael Lessie, Kyle Chisholm, and then nobody knowing what Malcolm Stewart and Freeze are doing, and then Reed and Brayton just decided to do Supercross only. So some names are missing. So don't freak out thinking we forgot who they were.
They just aren't going to be racing in the great outdoors.
Exactly.
Okay, cool. So let's jump into 450s. We're going to start with, basically with the 450s, the 450 teams only have like two dudes per team.
Other than KTM.
Other than KTM. And yeah, both KTM teams actually.
Teams,
That's ironic. Anyway, so basically what we're going to do is we have... Tired. Right, it sucks. We're going to have we have a few privateers that we threw in here that we think will do really well. And basically, I'll just list those three off, and then we can talk about them. Cole Martinez, Heath Harrison, and Frederick Norn.
Fast Freddy!
Yeah, that's good. So let's start. Cole Martinez, you talk about him.
I mean, not really much to talk about. You know, Cole, he's a solid top 20 dude. I think last year he finished like 18th or 19th in the points. He's just one of those privateers that he's just a grinder. I mean, there's no real part of his program that's better than anybody else's. He's one of those guys that if he gets a top 20 start, he might move up a couple spots and stuff. He's a solid dude for a top 20, top 25. I mean, that's kind of where I can see him finishing. He's never really been higher than 14th, I think, and he might end up on the Rock River team again. I know he's on the IBR Pro team or whatever the hell, IB Corp, but I think they're Supercross only, so it's kind of it. Did you want to talk about him, or you just want me to give the other two? Talk about Heath and Norin.
Well, I can talk about Fast Freddy, because I think Fast Freddy's going to do well. He's on decent stuff because Honda helps him out a lot because he does a ton of testing for him, so they give him good stuff. And he's always a consistently top 10, top 15 dude outdoors. He's just fast. So, I think he'll be right in there again.
I mean,
barring an injury, I don't think he'll get on factory equipment this year. But
I'm really curious to see how he does, though.
Heath Harrison?
Yeah.
Heath Harrison did well last year.
Well, his best finish was like a 7th, I think.
Yeah. He killed it last year. So, I'll be interested to see how he does this year because I feel like he's got more confidence because he was running arena cross, right?
Yeah, and then he rode West Coast at after round 3.
Yeah, so he's been bouncing back and forth and doing pretty well, so...
Do you think he can match it again now that he's on a better team? Now, instead of privateer, like literally in the van, him and his mechanic. Now he's on a team.
Now he's on Rock River, right?
Yeah. You think he can do it again?
If he got a top 5, it wouldn't surprise me.
Okay. I mean, I'd be cool with that. He's a good dude. So
yeah, so that wouldn't surprise me.
But I agree with the Freddie Norton analysis. I mean, that's kind of the gist of it. He's a top 10 guy. Plain and simple.
He's fast.
Anybody that forgets about him is just not paying attention to me because there was a lot of times he was top 5 in a moto last year. So So we kind of agree on all of that. So
yeah, so those are the privateers that we think will do well in the 450s.
Yep.
Okay, cool. So let's get into first factory team, I guess. RCH. Tickle and Bogle are on the team. You pick one, I'll take the other.
I'll go Tickle because I know you like Bogle.
I knew you were going to take Tickle.
Why? I thought you liked Bogle.
Because he's easier to talk. I do like Bogle, but Tickle's easier to talk about.
You just fuck off.
All right,
I'll take Tickle. You know what? Because he likes Bogle. Tickle, I mean, dude, he's another one of those grinders. He's solid every year. I mean, he doesn't set the world on fire. Although, 2 times last year he was fastest in qualifying, which blew my mind, considering how Eli and Kenny were riding. He'll do that every now and then. Obviously, he did it at Toronto, and I think he did it at one more race this year on the East Coast. I can't remember. But he's good for one of those, just hey, go out, last lap heater, and
Detroit.
Detroit? Oh, it was.
Yes.
Yep, okay. And it'll just blow your mind. You got to put Brock as a consistent top 10 guy, but I think realistically, he's going to be more the 10 to 14 range, just because I think if everybody starts up front, he's just a click off of the top guy, or the click off of the 5 to 10 guys, and then 3 clicks off the top guys. So, no disrespect to Brock. I like Brock. He's a good dude, very humble, but I think that's where you got to put him.
Yeah, I wouldn't argue any of that. I think he gets in there and gets a top 5 here and there.
Yeah.
Because he is really good, and he's actually one of those guys that later on in his career, he's progressing, which is weird because usually you regress and as you get older,
and he's won a West Coast Championship, which people forget about.
Yeah.
So that's even more funny about it.
Yep. So, now as far as Bogle goes... Man, I feel so bad for this kid. At some point, all the work is going to have to catch up.
It's got to.
Because he puts in a lot of work. He's got speed. He's fast.
Yep.
He just... I hate to say it, because we don't like talking about it, but his luck just sucks. I mean, he gets in these weird situations where he gets taken down or he goes out or whatever.
Poor Cell taking him out.
And freaking... It messes him up. But he gets good starts. Hell, how many races did he hole shot last year outdoors?
Look at Southwick.
Yeah. He hole shot and led for, what, 10 minutes? Something like that at Southwick over Eli, who was killing it. So, okay, so he's got speed. Again, we can work with speed.
Yep.
And at some point, somebody's going to pick him up who can work with speed and really put a bike underneath him that's going to jive, and the kid probably is going to do really well. And what I mean by really well is like a top 5 guy.
Consistent top 5 guy?
Maybe.
Woo! Wow.
He's got speed, man.
I know. Wow.
He's got speed, and if it ever all clicks, I could see it. Right now, none of it's clicking. I don't know if the RCH bike isn't that good. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure it's okay. They've had the same bike for frickin' 20 years now, so... Or ever since Suzuki came out with a 450, it's been the same.
Yeah, the 18's finally. The 18 is finally going to be new.
But yeah, I would say he could be a pretty consistent top 5 guy if he ever gets everything to click. Now, will that ever happen? That's a whole other story. But
so, what do you have him for outdoors? Because we're talking about a lot of ifs here.
What do I have him for outdoors?
Yeah,
realistically this year.
Yeah.
Somewhere between 8 to 12.
Okay. Don't get mad at me, but I'm done with this kid. I'm done. I'm done with Justin Bogle. I like the kid. He obviously is an East Coast champion, but let's not beat around the bush. He got handed to him with AC getting hurt and then Martine laying an egg. I'm done with him. I mean, the kid's got all the talent in the world. You could argue that he's one of the top 5 talented dudes in the 450 class, maybe even in America. We're not talking about the GPs. He's one of the top 5 talented dudes riding a dirt bike in America. How many chances are we gonna give this kid before it's like, hey, dude, like, he was on a fucking factory bike straight out of the amateurs, whole entire. He was on a really great bike. Basically, it was factory last year, and he squandered it. And what has he done in Supercross this year, other than Arlington? What has he done? I like the kid, and I agree with everything you say, but it comes a point, and I know that...
Well, I think we're at that point that if he doesn't do anything outdoors this year, he doesn't find a ride next year. He's Dean Wilsoning it out of his own...
I would even say this guy, it's more like him. We get to the point where, even though he's a harder worker than this dude, when are we going to stop giving this kid chances?
Yeah, well, like I said, I think this is pretty much... He's in that do-or-die situation of, if he doesn't produce in outdoors here, as hard a time as he had finding a ride last year, he has a harder time next year.
Where I'm going to put him on the season, I will put him 10 to 13th with a couple 6th to 8th finishes.
No, see, you scoffed. I put him 8 to 12th, which isn't really far off.
Yeah, but you know what, though? The reason to see I have a motive behind that. He has bad luck. 13 is a bad number. 10 to 13. I'm just saying.
All right. Well, anyway.
I mean, really, though, like, he's a talented kid, and he's a good kid, but once again... When are we going to stop giving this kid chances? We keep giving these guys chances hoping they're going to do well, and they never do. They squander the chance.
Yep.
So, I love the kid, no disrespect to him, but I'm done banking on Justin Bogle all figuring it out.
Yeah, it's true.
And watch, he's going to go on Hangtown and probably get top 3.
And that's our thoughts on RCH.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's move on to the next kind of satellite team here. Let's go to JGR.
He's sad because I get to talk about Weston Pike, and he's going to talk about Justin Barcia.
Go ahead.
Okay, Weston Pike. He's still hurt. It looks like he's going to be lining up at Hangtown. Weston Pike, to me, and maybe it's just an underdog thing, a big guy thing, I've always been a fan of this kid. I met him a long time ago, very down to earth. People can talk what they want about him and his dad. Weston, to me, is the dark horse. Hell yeah, dude. He's a fucking animal, just eats whoops alive. Weston, honestly, man, is my dark horse for this year. If he looked good at the first couple rounds. I know it was a small sample size, but let's be honest. He was 4th to 6th place speed until he got hurt in Phoenix. He's a bulldog outdoors. We know the kid, as big as he is, somehow never fades. The kid is literally within a second of his fastest lap time the whole entire moto. If Weston gets off the line, I'll go on record and say I could see him being top 5 almost every moto.
I wouldn't argue that.
I mean, he's a beast. Like he doesn't have great style. He manhandles the bike. We joke around. He eats the fucking bike, but he does. He just slams that thing into the fucking center of gravity.
He does.
He's a beast, but it works for him. And dude, he's one of the only guys aside from Eli that can literally pitch that thing all the way sideways, straighten out, and come back around and still keep the bike planted. Mm-hmm. So I mean, I'm gonna have to say a 5th to 7th place guy, but more towards top 5 if he gets starts. So that's my thought on Weston. I mean,
all right, let's talk about this other shithead. Justin Barcia. Woo! I'm really sad about this too because I was a huge Barcia fan when I started back in the sport in 14 or whatever, having been away for a little while. I like the kid. I liked his style. However, his style now has progressed from, he's Bam Bam Barcia. He's going to go out there and he'll do whatever it takes to win. To now he's just Bam Bam Barcia, who's just Bam Bam because he's a dickhead. Like,
it's a nuisance.
It is. It's Vince Freeze-esque.
Except worse, I
think. Worse, because he's fast enough to actually T-bone people. A la Michael Lessie.
That's like an adjective. Like, it's fast enough to T-bone people.
Yeah. So anyway, I don't know how he's going to do outdoors. He's done better outdoors, but he hasn't done anything this year yet.
I mean,
is he going to get hurt again? I mean, is he even going to ride?
Realistically, he hasn't gotten hurt outdoors too much. So
yeah,
I mean,
so he might actually ride. And barring a mud race, which we've seen him do well in, I see him 9th to 15th.
I guess because I really don't have high hopes for him, I'll agree with everything you said. The one thing I will say, and it's kind of like Justin Bogle, he's got to get something done this year.
I will tell you this. If he doesn't produce this year, if he is in that 9 to 15 range, he doesn't ride in America next year.
Well, from everything I know about his camp, if that doesn't happen, he doesn't ride at all because he doesn't want to go to the GPs. People say he does, but he's not going to uproot his life and go over there. I'll agree with everything you say. If he doesn't get it done, I don't think he has a ride next year. And honestly, and I know that Filthy's missing from this, Filthy Phil Nicoletti, because he's hurt and it's looking like he's not going to probably come back this outdoors. I'll even go as far as to say that if Barcia doesn't perform with his contract being up, they just give the ride to Filthy and don't even worry about getting everybody else. Because Phil got top 5 last year in the outdoor points.
I think they go after somebody else, but
I do too.
Who and what is for a different show.
But he won't be on the team.
No, I don't see Barcia coming back to JGR because I don't think JGR is happy because they shelled out a lot of money for him 2 years ago
like
and
millions.
he hasn't produced anything.
I'll say the same as you, 9 to 15.
Yeah. So anywho, that's our thoughts on the JGR team there. Okay, cool. So we're moving on here. We're going to the Rocky Mountain KTM team here. Mm-hmm. Who you want to talk about?
I said we go from bottom up. Or no, him, and then him.
Okay, so we'll start with Bloss. Benny Bloss.
Yeah.
I'm going to put him in the top 10 all season long.
I mean, what is it? What was his nickname? The little giraffe? Or what the hell was it? I mean, I don't know how you can be little and be 6'6" or whatever.
Yeah.
But, I mean, dude.
He's 6'4".
He's only 6'4"?
I think he's 6'4".
God, every time I stood next to him, it seems like he was taller than that. Either way. Yeah, I mean, dude, he was top 5 after Millville, a couple motos and stuff. Got a couple top 5 overalls. He's just a beast. I mean, he's not the funnest guy in the world to watch because he is so tall and lengthy. It almost, I don't know if this predates you, but Travis Preston-esque like. style, just gangly, just like I said, picking the bike up and playing it where you want to. Kid's just solid, plain and simple. There's nothing about him that's bad. I mean,
no,
he's a great interview. He's fun. He trains down with the OKC crew. Yeah, I mean, top 10 with, I mean, you got to think that he's got to get a couple top 5s this season.
Is he coming back for Hangtown? Because he's hurt right now.
As far as I know.
Okay.
As far as I know. So.
But yeah, I would say top 10. If he gets some top 5s, it won't shock me at all. Because he was fast on that 450.
Because he had the speed. It's not like he lucked into those top 5s.
No.
His speed was there. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, we both agree on that. So, yep.
All right, so let's move on to the next one, and possibly the oldest team member here, Davey Millsaps.
You want to go, or you want me to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay.
I think it's going to be underwhelming.
Really?
I don't think he's going to do well. I know he's coming off that Canadian national title, but man, Canada's way different than the U.S.
Yeah.
Way different. Like Canada, there's like 5 fast dudes up there. Like down here, there's like 20.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it's 10 deep this year.
I think he's consistently 7th to 12th place.
Would you say that's good for him though? Wouldn't you say though, considering where he's at in his career?
For where he's at in his career, yeah, but for the hype train that has been Davey Millsaps for his whole career, no.
Okay.
I feel like he's almost like a Chad Reed of like he thinks he can win and he should win, and when he doesn't, he gets pissy.
But he's been doing good in Supercross. Let's not beat around the bush. He's done a lot better than probably just about anybody other than him thought.
Yep.
I won't disagree. I think that Davey could be a dark horse just because his confidence might be higher than it's been in the past couple years. But Davey, because he has been a mental head case his whole entire life, I mean, he got burned out after all the years dealing with Colleen, his mom, and everything, going to California and so his whole season is predicated on where he is mentally, and he's one of those guys that if he's feeling it, he can be top 5, and if he's over it, he could be 15th. I would put him 8th to 12th. I think 7th to 10th is good, but I would put him 8th to 12th, and I don't really see him ever getting higher than a 7th in a moto, just because he could get halfway into the moto and just be like, I'm over it.
Yeah.
So, but once again, I think for where he's at in his career, I think that's good. So.
Now let's move on, though, to the promised land here of this team.
Shit.
Blake Baggett.
Dude. Can I go first?
Yeah, go for it.
I have never been around on this kid's hype train. I am fucking all on this kid's hype train. That kid, Blake Baggett, right now, to me, other than 2 other guys, is the fastest dude in the class right now. I know everybody will say, whoa, he didn't really do much on, Yosh Suzuki, and he did okay in a couple top 5s. For whatever reason, I don't know if it was moving to Florida and get his own compound or whatever, and let's be real, that fucker is a compound. I don't know if that's just mentally put him in a good place, but right now, seeing how much he's progressed in Supercross and then going into outdoors, I hope people get this reference. It's El Chupacabra season coming up, boys. That kid, if he starts in 10 to 15th, look for him to come blazing through the pack and get on the box at the 30-minute mark. I got so much confidence in this kid right now. If he's not top 5 every moto, trending towards top 3, I'll be shocked, to be honest with you.
I'm not going to disagree with anything you're saying. He's on a high right now. He's literally doing things at Supercross he's never done before. He's stoked on that, and he knows he's doing things. He's admitted it in several interviews of like, yeah, I just like riding Supercross now. So now you're coming into his element, which is outdoors, where he coined the name El Chupacabra because he was a monster at it. Yeah, I see this kid consistent top 5s throughout the year. If he gets on the box, it won't surprise me at all.
Honestly, other than maybe one other dude, I think that he's the one guy that you could say, I know that, once again, we got 2 guys coming up, but he is the one guy, other than one person, I'm pretty sure everybody knows who we're talking about, that I could see that if he's going to win a moto, it's going to be him. Just because of the fact that, aside from that one person, he's probably in better shape than everybody else in the class.
Yep.
So, top 5 you say?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I agree too. Top 5.
Yep.
For sure.
So, that's Rocky Mountain KTM. All right, cool. So let's move on. Let's talk about HRC Honda here. Again, a 2-man team, and
I'm still depressed.
I am too. I wish Kenny was riding.
Dude, we could have had some RC stew shit.
Awesome battles.
Could have had some RC stew shit.
And now instead on Honda we have Celia and Craig.
Hey, though, okay. Who do you want to talk about first? Because I don't think it's as bad as you think it is. It's just.
Let's talk about Craig. Because I feel like out of the two, he's the worst, and then we'll go from there. So let's start talking about Craig.
Honestly, I'm kind of really interested to see, because clearly Christian's style fits a 450 better. Mm-hmm. He's buttery smooth, silky smooth. He's laid back. His style fits the 450 a lot better. He's obviously on one of the best bikes in the class. He's not an outdoor guy. He's had a few good outdoor motos dating back to when he decided to come back at Thunder Valley a few years ago. I don't really know, to be honest with you. I'm very interested and excited to see how he does, because I think speed-wise he could be a 5th to 8th place guy, but I think it's going to be a learning curve going to the 450. Now, it's going to set him up because he has to move to the 450 soon, but is it going to be one of those things in his mind? Is it going to be two things? Is it going to be, okay, this is a tryout for me to see because I have to move to 450, or am I just getting paid to do this, finish out the year, and then I go back to 250s next year? I want to know how he's looking at that going into the season, because that, to me, really is the big question. If he's taking it serious, I got him top 10 all day long. If he's not, 12th to 15th.
If I'm him, I'm looking at it as this is my tryout.
Okay.
Because I want off that 250. But I don't know. I haven't seen him ride outdoors enough. I don't remember what he did last year in the 250 class.
He got hurt.
That's what I thought. I was like, I don't remember him riding. So I'm like, that's...
he got
so
hurt.
I really don't have much information to go off of. The way the rest of his year has been,
all I'll say is
I'm not pumped.
All I'll say is that don't base it off of what this year is going.
I'm pumped that Honda's putting 2 bikes on the track.
Yes.
But other than that, I don't know. Now, Cole Seeley, on the other hand, a little more hyped about him. Last year, he was making strides in outdoors, because we all know he's not an outdoor guy.
Led for 20 minutes a month.
Yeah. So he's making strides. But, I mean, I see him maybe as a top 5 guy. Maybe if he gets on the box, it won't overly shock me. I'll be pumped about it, but it wouldn't overly shock me. But I don't see it consistently. I see him like 5th to 8th place area every single week. And that's pretty much it with him. I don't see him doing anything spectacular. I don't think he's gonna win.
I think that Glen Helen, Hangtown, and Thunder Valley is when we'll see Cole at his best. I think when he starts getting to the heat, the hot races and stuff, like I said, like Muddy Creek, Buds, Millville, Red Bud, he's always struggled. I mean, he's been a Southern California guy his whole entire life. I mean, he deals with 80, 85 degrees with no humidity. Now, he comes over to Florida every now and then when they're on the East Coast swing. But he's just, it's never took. He's tried riding in the heat to get his body acclimated, and it's never really took. Some guys just don't ever get used to it. They're plain and simple. Speed-wise, I'd like to say I could see him in the top 5, but realistically, I probably would put him an 8th to 11th place guy, just because I don't think he can hack it when it gets to the hot races.
Yeah.
He'll be good at Washougal.
Yeah.
He'll be good at Washougal and High Point and places like that. But places like Red Bud, dude, like I said, where it's 3-foot deep ruts and you got braking bumps all the way from the exiting or the entering of the transition to the exiting of it, he struggles, plain and simple.
Yep.
He does. So, yeah.
I'm not overly pumped for Honda to have a great year outdoors here.
I think I'm not pumped either, but it's one of those things that with the two guys, with the way their attitude is, it's not expected, but I think it's going to do better than we think it's going to.
Yeah, hopefully you're right.
I hope so too. I'm not banking on it, but I wouldn't be as down on it because of who they are, because they can put in solid rides. It's just Honda's not going to be in the top 5. That's the unfortunate thing.
Yep. So that's our thoughts on HRC Honda there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We're getting serious because our elbows aren't on the table.
Yeah.
Well, that's depressing, actually.
It's excessive. Okay, so probably the biggest question mark and biggest hype of the year here. Mm-hmm. What's Cooper Webb going to do on the Monster Energy, Yamaha, Yamalube, Yamaha Financial, pretty much anything Yamaha's involved in, Yamaha team.
Did you see when he forgot on the podium who our sponsors were? He's like, Yamaha Fun. I don't know. They sponsor my team.
Whatever. Everybody who sponsors me, we're good.
Yeah, if it starts with a Y.
If it starts with Yamaha, they sponsor me.
Mm-hmm. Yamaha drums.
All right. So, what do you think he's going to do outdoors?
I'll actually let you go first on this one.
I think he is going to be a top. He's going to be in the top 10. That I'll stamp guaranteed.
Whoa.
top 5, yes, but consistency is going to be an issue, and I think he gets on the box at least a couple of times over the course of the year.
Holy crap.
What are you holy crapping?
I'm disappointed right now.
It's his first. Here's my thought.
Keep going.
I like Coop, but it's his first full year riding 450s. Mm-hmm. So he's been 17 rounds, which he's been hurt for, 4 or 5 rounds he was hurt? 4?
Yep.
4?
Not his fault, though.
Okay, whatever. Doesn't matter. Still's hurt. Mm-hmm. Now he's got to go outdoors the whole time. That's a lot of weekends to get acclimated to your rookie season. Mm-hmm. He's coming off, he was a beast in 250s, but in 250s you're only running 9 out of 17 instead of 17 out of 17. So, like I said, I put him top 10 all year because he's beast outdoors. I put him top 5 pretty regularly, and I put him on the podium a few times. And that's what I got.
So right now, before I get into how I think he's going to do, right now you're just basing this off of because it's his first full year in the 450 class.
Yes.
Okay. This is going to be the first time we've disagreed on this show. I completely disagree with him. I don't care if this is his first full season going 17-12. That doesn't bother Coop. The kid doesn't get tired. He proved that last year. If you want to come up with another name, El Chupacabra, as a monster, Coop did it. Coop won 95% of his races last year coming from the back of the pack. You hit the 25-minute mark, he was like a rocket ship and went 2 seconds faster than his fastest lap time to that point.
All right, well, you want to bet money or?
Overwhelming. Dude, okay, let's go down this list, and other than 1 or 2 guys, I don't see anybody on this list that's faster than him. Straight up. Like, you can't give me any reasons that any of these other guys, other than maybe 2 of them, are faster than Cooper
But what
Webb.
I'm looking at is once we get into the heat of the summer here, once we start hitting Muddy Creek, once we start hitting Redbud, once we go to Millville, and we start getting in the heat, which I know he's used to because he's rode in America forever, and he trains in North Carolina, or South Carolina, whatever. Anyway, once we get into the heat, and now he's been at it for however many weeks in a row, plus he got hurt, is that going to factor in here?
No. It hasn't his whole entire career. And I know you could say 250 to 450, but let's be honest. Cooper Webb's conditioning has never been an issue.
I hope I'm wrong. I really do, but that's where I'm going to safely put him this season.
I will, and I can see that because it has been a problem with kids but there hasn't been a kid other than Eli and Kenny coming off 250s that has this much talent going to the 450 class. Conditioning, not an issue with me. I don't think that's going to factor in one bit. Right now, I'll say top 3 the whole entire season. There is nobody on this list other than maybe 2 guys and maybe 1 that I can see speed for speed beating Coop. And that's the thing. If there was somebody that was faster than him, I would believe you. But since there's only maybe 1 or 2 guys faster than him, conditioning is not going to be an issue. You really think that, okay, I'll just give an instance before we end the segment, that, okay, say 20-minute mark hits, Barsha, Pike, Ando, Dino, Trey, Davey, Bogle, they're all in front of him. You really think he's going to have an issue going around those guys?
Nope, but I look at Eli, Dunge, Marv, and Baggett. All could be very easily.
Okay, so that puts him still in the top 5.
Exactly, which is what I said. I said regularly top 5. I said top 10 safely, regularly top 5, and a few podiums.
I say box consistent or on the box a lot, and top 5 every moto pretty much.
All right.
If he doesn't crash. And even at that, it doesn't worry me because unlike the 250 guys, these guys are at the point in their career that if you have somebody like Coop coming like a freight train behind you and they know that you're faster, they're not going to ride a wide bike. I'm not saying they're going to pull over, obviously, but the 250 kids just don't care.
Yeah.
Where he had to get aggressive with him and run him in deep. If he's coming up on somebody like Dean Wilson and Dean knows that he's 2 seconds faster, Dean's not going to make it that hard on him. Mm-hmm. So I'll say top 5 consistently, and he's going to be on the box pretty much probably every moto.
All right. So. All right. Cool. All right. Well, that's our Monster Energy Yamaha Financial
green and black, blue, white Yamaha thing.
Yamaha team.
Yamaha.
Monster Energy Kawasaki.
JG's got to go first.
We got to talk about Josh Grant first. How do you think he's going to do with his fixed ankles?
He's honestly a dark horse to me. You know he's going to be fast at the California rounds.
If he podiums Glenn Helen, will not surprise me.
If he yanks a holy and he gets out by 10 seconds in the first, give or take 5 laps, he's getting on the box. He's getting on the box. Let's be honest. 2 things have basically defined Josh Grant's career. Raw speed.
And gang symbols.
He doesn't do that anymore. Raw speed, no fitness.
Yeah.
The best thing I can say about Josh Grant is, because even this late in his career, his ankles are fixed, which is a good thing because he literally had no just bone fragments hanging around there. He had no cartilage, nothing in there. I think he's going to be one of those guys that he could get in the top 5 that could shock us, but man, I think on the regular he's... I don't even know why I'm even saying it like this, but he's got to be like an 8th to 15th guy or something. Because you'll never know what Josh Grant is going to do. Because you know if he yanks a Holy and sprints and gets a gap, even though he's going to fade 20 minutes into the moto, he's got enough of a gap where he could stay within 4 positions. But the thing is, if he doesn't get a start, he can only move forward 5 positions. So it's one of those things, if he yanks a Holy inside the top 10, he could stay in 5th and 6th place for damn near the whole moto and then get 8th. But if he gets a 9th place start, he could stay in 9th and 10th the whole moto and end up 13th. So, I mean, I'm really not going to say a consistent place other than that because that's how his career has gone his whole entire life. So
I'm going to call him 8 to 12 with some flashes of brilliance is what I'm going to call on for his season. So
okay.
I think with his fixed ankles, he's going to do better-ish, but I still don't think he's in the top 5, really.
He's not a top 5 guy anymore, and he knows it, which is good because he's not working his ass off for nothing. He's not fighting to grab that carrot and never getting it. So
So
I'm just glad he's on the track. I love watching Josh Grant ride.
Yeah, he's all right. Okay, so let's talk about the other guy. Big time. Eli Tomac. 24-0? No? No one else thinks this?
No, damn it.
Not 24-0?
Okay, so, is that all you got to say about him?
24-0?
Okay, so here's my thing, and I've said this, and I've said this to other people. Eli makes it through the first 6 rounds, and if he wins the first 6 rounds, or not the 6 rounds, 6 motos. If he wins the first 6 motos, and I'm going to say this because that's where we were at in 2015.
Glen Helen, Thunder Valley?
Yep. So if he makes it through the second moto of Thunder Valley, because that's where he got hurt, I don't care if he wins by 1 second or he wins by 35. Stamp it, click it, snap it, whatever you want to do, gun shoot it. 24-0, 3rd time. Well, actually, it'd be the 4th time because Ricky did it twice, Stu did it once. Be the 4th time in history, Eli Tomac went 24-0. Shit is signed, sealed, and stamped because the only man on the planet that can beat him right now is watching from his couch.
Yep.
But the question is if he makes it and he knows he has a chance, and I don't care what he says, he'll never say it and John will never say it, but if he does, he knows that it's a possibility. Are we seeing Ricky, Stewart, Villapoto-esque like obliterations at the second half of the season? Each moto?
I just want to see him win by a minute and a half at Hangtown again.
I don't know if that'll happen.
I don't know that that'll happen.
I don't think that'll actually ever happen at a professional motocross race ever again.
Well, it depends how
My point is, though,
good that bike is.
My point is, though, and they did get the bike finally dialed in. They stopped using Villapoto's setup. My point, though, is seriously, if he gets through the first 6 motos and he is actually trying for the 24-0, which, once again, he'll never tell you that, but you know he will be, are we going to see Ricky, Stu, Villapoto-like dominations each moto?
Wouldn't surprise me whatsoever. Look at what he's doing in Supercross.
Yeah.
He's winning 8 out of... we have, 3 rounds to go?
Yeah.
He's won 8 races already?
So, for people who don't know, I know most of you probably will, but what I mean by that is we're talking about 55 seconds to a minute on second place every moto.
It wouldn't surprise me.
If he gets through the first 6, 24-0.
It wouldn't surprise me, honestly, if he is dominating that much when they get to Southwick, if he wins by over 2 minutes at Southwick.
Ooh.
That wouldn't surprise me. Look at what he did last year.
Fuck, you're talking about like Hurlings type shit now in the 250 class.
I mean, we're talking last year, Kenny is dominating, won 20, 21, 22 out of 24?
He won 21 out of 24.
21 out of 24 last year, and Eli dropped him like a bad habit at Southwick.
Yeah, we're going to have to go back and look what the gap was. We'll do that after the next segment, what the gap was to 3rd.
Yeah, but anywho, okay, so now you put him on a bike he likes, because he's got it dialed in now, with confidence that's through the roof. So barring anything catastrophic happening to Eli, he's got all the momentum, which momentum over anything else, period, over points lead, period. And then he knows he's good at Southwick. Like, he knows he goes in there and dominates.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like when they go to New Jersey for Supercross. He knows he's going to win. So, I could see him winning by over 2 minutes. If he's dominating like that. Now, if you get Coop beats him, or Dunge beats him, or Ando beats him, a race here and there, and he still got the points lead, he still wins there, but he might not be dominating by as much.
If he, honestly, and this is not just hyperbole, like if we're having a serious conversation, if he wins by 2 minutes...
Getting serious.
If he wins by 2 minutes, I will lose my fucking mind. Because that has never happened before. Like, minute and a half had never happened before. Like, even when Ricky lapped the field at Millville in 06 at the Mud Moto, I think it was only like a minute and... I don't even know what it was. But, still, if he wins by 2 minutes, like, that's like... I don't even know the word for that. There's not even an adjective for what that means. But that's the sad thing about all this, though, is that I love watching Eli dominate because of all the naysayers about him. Oh, he can't do this, or he always puts it on the deck. The only man that can beat him, realistically, is sitting with his fucking arm in a cast after 10 surgeries. And it's going to get to the point that, oh, hey, we're just looking... Well, Eli showed up today, so, that's over with. So we're basically looking for battles from second on back. Which there's nothing wrong with that. But, I mean, let's be real. The outdoor nationals are a lot better when people are actually battling for wins. It's like when Carmichael used to ride. Mm-hmm. We knew the Stu was going to pace him for 25 minutes, but after that, it was over with. And it just... I don't know. I guess that's the only kind of shitty part about all this is that Eli's that far ahead of everybody else.
Yep.
But... I mean, I'll still be happy, don't get me wrong.
Oh, yeah. So, anyway, that's our thoughts on Monster Energy Kawasaki. Okay, so last team on the list here, Red Bull KTM. 3 dudes on it, Trey, Marv, and Dunge. Let's start with Trey. This is Trey's going away season. He's basically in an Andrew Short scenario at this point, which is fine. Let's get him out before anything really bad happens.
Because I like Trey a lot.
I do, and I think he's a good ambassador for the sport, but his luck is just so shit, and now he's not producing because he's gotten hurt enough that it's in his head, and okay, fine, see you later. I think he's a top 20 dude, but where he's going to finish inside that, I don't know. It depends when he comes back, where his speed is, and when he came back this year so far, his speed has not been there.
No, he was good in time practice in the heat races, but in the mains, he just hit the wall. And it wasn't even a physical wall, it was just a mental wall. He's just like, I'm just not comfortable doing this anymore. It's sad for me to say this because Trey's career was started off so promising, and he's done well in the 450 class. He's normally been a top 5 guy up until this point. The way I see Trey's season going, I see, since we did make a comment about Andrew Short, I see him being a 10th to 15th place guy with a few good races like Shorty did last year. Maybe he'll get a 7th or an 8th here and there. Just depends on, how he's feeling that in morning practice. I don't know. It's kind of sad for me because, I mean, he's kind of the last one left, I guess you could say, not taking Eli and Kenny out of the side that was the last really hype dude. And I mean him, Austin Stroop, and Nico Izzy, the really hype dude out of the amateurs that was like, oh shit, like this dude could like be the next big thing. And he's kind of the last guy out of that group, and I don't know, it just kind of sucks. He's really young, and he's retiring under his own free will, but you almost make it feel like he's not because of the fact of how many injuries he's gotten hurt, or how many times he's gotten hurt. So, I don't know, it's 10 to 15th, I guess.
Yep, so... let's move up the list. Let's talk about Marv. I don't know what Marv's going to do outside, man. He didn't do a lot last year.
I don't know, man. I'm not really hyped.
I'm not hyped on the Marv train either. I think he's a top 10 dude, but I think that's all we got.
I would say closer to the top 5 just because, once again, we talk about we can work with speed, and that he's in good shape. But once again, he didn't do anything last year.
No,
he didn't. He got yarded. Like, he wasn't even fucking close.
Yeah, he was hyped coming in. I was like, oh, he's coming off this 250 titles, and he's this and that and the other thing. And then it's like, where you at, bro?
I mean, he got, like, let's be real, people. He got yarded.
Yep.
Like, I think his best moto finish was a 4th, maybe? Mm-hmm. But he got straight yarded. Like, that, I can't keep using that word enough. He got yarded. I mean, on average, from him to the top 3 was probably 25 seconds. And he wasn't even really, like, when he was coming through the pack, he wouldn't stall out, but it's like he got in the latched onto somebody. He clearly was faster than that person, and he's just like, oh, okay, I'm cool sitting back here and marking you for a few laps, and, oh, I'll go around you now, and, you know, it just, I don't know, man, like...
Very underwhelming rookie season, so it'll be interesting to see how sophomore year goes, but I'm not overly hyped on it.
No, I guess I could just say average. I won't even put a place. I'll just say average.
Yeah.
So
it's pretty much.
And then the last one.
Ryan Dungey.
We should just take a second, and even though we got Supercross, we could just say farewell to him.
Yeah, he's retiring.
Let's get real, folks. You know he's going to retire.
Come Vegas, we're going to have an announcement that he's retiring. I'll lay lots of money on that.
It's the farewell season. It's the farewell season.
Yep,
folks.
he's going out too. So now, how does he do outdoors?
I guess we could talk a little bit more about this because there's a lot of conflicts with this.
As far as I see him going, I mean, it's good. I think he podiums outdoors because he's Ryan Dungey. He's going to podium the shit out of stuff. So I think he podiums pretty regularly, but with it being his farewell here, as long as he announces his retirement, which this is all hearsay, but so as long as he announces his retirement, I mean, he's not going to push that hard to do it. I mean, he's going to still want to do a good job, and he obviously wants to win because pretty much everybody wants to win, but I see him on the podium, but I don't see him winning the title unless something major happens to other people, Coop and Eli.
Let's be real. This is, once again, it's all hearsay, but it's pretty much obvious. Farewell season. He's not going to push. There'd be no reason to, because let's be honest, he even knows, I don't care what he says, he knew his one shot to beat Eli was in Supercross, and that's obviously not going well. He knows he's not going to beat him outdoors. I don't care if he even was beating him up until he got hurt last year. He knows with this momentum, and then going into Eli, and I'll say Eli's house, outdoors, he knows he's going to have nothing. Like, he's not even going to, like, even on a good day, he knows he's not going to have anything for Eli. And then with a few other guys, you know, stepping up. Big question for me is if this is his farewell season, if he puts himself in a situation where, let's just say he yanks a holy, is he going to push, or is it going to be a farewell season where, hey, I'm just kind of showing up and not collecting a check because that's not Dungey's style, but just, hey, see ya, mailing it in? And
I wouldn't say that. What's he doing? Like, right now, I've heard countless times that he doesn't do any media unless he has to go to the press conference
he doesn't.
podiums.
He doesn't.
So, at this point, he's collecting a check.
It just, man, it's kind of hard because he's in that situation, and we haven't really seen a situation like this because even with RV, he went over to the GPs. We didn't really know if he was going to stay there or come back. Obviously, with Carmichael, it was a little different. We knew he was going to retire, but he hadn't announced it yet. We're pretty much certain that Dungey's going to retire after this season. Nobody's ever really been in a situation where going into still finishing the year, hey, I'm retiring at the end of the season on this level. Man, just because it's Ryan Dungey, I will say consistently top 5 because you know that he's still going to want to go out there and do well. I just think that if it gets in there and somebody's pushing him, he might lay up a little bit. But I don't know. It's weird. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, it's a really weird situation. I don't know where. Like, I know he's going to be up front, but
and because it's Ryan Dungey, you know he's going to be up front.
Yeah, but it's just like, where does he finish? Because if he is retiring and he gets pushed, does he push back? Does he just let him by? Like,
okay, so here's my big question before we end the segment. If he doesn't end up on the box, not a moto, I'm not talking about that because that'd be ridiculous to think. If he doesn't get one top 3 overall this year, will it surprise you?
Yeah, that would actually surprise me a little bit.
Okay.
So, because he's just too good at riding to not get any podiums outdoors. So,
okay.
Or does he pull a Carmichael and at the end of Supercross he's like, oh, I'm retiring, and he only runs like 6 rounds the outdoors, doesn't even run the full season.
I don't think that will happen because when Ricky did that, Ricky's contract had different obligations and different little extra things in there where he could do shit like that. I think Ryan pretty much, it doesn't matter who you are, you have to run outdoors because we need a third guy. Because we don't know if Trey's going to be able to make it through the outdoors.
Yeah, it's true.
And there's no way KTM goes to the outdoors with just Marv.
Yeah.
So,
all right, cool. That's our thoughts on Red Bull KTM there. Okay, let's get to our top 3 in points prediction. I think I went first last time, correct?
Yeah, you did because you.
So it's your turn.
Okay.
Go ahead.
What are you doing?
I'm sliding you a card across the table.
There's no card here. Okay.
Go ahead.
Slide me $1 or something.
I'll give you $1.
Okay. My third place guy. I'm probably gonna have to go Blake Baggett.
Interesting.
Dude, I'm sorry, man. I'm on the hype train. I know that, he's not really up there and far in Supercross points, but because he's actually finally getting it dialed, he has confidence. He knows he's an outdoor guy. I just think he has all the tools to do it. He gets good starts. His conditioning's not an issue. His speed's not going to be an issue. And I think where a lot of these guys, compared to the 250 guys, some of these guys in the top 10 don't have the best conditioning after the 25-minute mark. If Baggett's on a freight train and he's just feeling it and he's going 3 seconds faster than just about anybody in the pack, it's going to be a really hard time to hold him up. So I think third's pretty good for him. Now, I'm not 100% sold on it, but I will say I'm 95% sure he's in third. So who do you got for third?
Actually, I'm going to put Coop in third.
Okay.
I think he puts enough solid finishes together. Third place on the year, no problem.
Okay. All right.
So,
I can't.
I think that. And then if you move into second, I'm going to put Dunge at second. I think Dunge has enough. Dunge is consistent enough. Unless he just completely shits the bed and is like, I don't even care anymore, he's going to end up second in points.
Okay.
Let's face it. It's Ryan Dungey, okay? If he puts together 3/4 of an effort, he's better than 99% of these guys.
Okay.
So I think he does. Consistency-wise, who's going to out-consistent him?
Other than one person on here?
Yeah. Look at Supercross.
I know.
Who's beating him?
Supercross is a little different, though.
Supercross, the only person who's beating him is the guy who's consistently winning.
But the difference between Supercross and outdoors is even if you're not as consistent as a guy, outright speed is probably 85% of the factor. Because you can just bulldog your way through a moto.
I guess. But I still put Dunge at second.
My second place guy is Cooper Webb.
Okay.
I'm still high on the train of Cooper Webb, plain and simple. I see him being in there every moto. I see him being top 3 speed-wise and conditioning because now he's got his own compound. He's doing his own thing. He's away from California. I'm sorry. I don't care if we talk about, hey, this is his first full season on the 450. I don't care about Ryan Dungey being consistent. I'm sorry. From what I saw in the few races at the MX of Nations with Cooper Webb only having a week on a 450, he's not going to be faster than Coop. Plain and simple. He's not. And I know that, yes, he is more consistent than Coop, but Coop is a outdoor guy. Contrary to popular belief, even though he won 2 Supercross championships, he is an outdoor guy. And if you're going to tell me that you're going to put Cooper Webb with 1 week of testing time, go to the MX of Nations, and basically be just as fast as everybody and guys like Roman Fevre and Gautier and Geyser and all those guys, I'm sorry. I can't imagine what he's going to do with a full season underneath his belt to get that bike dialed in. So it's Coop, plain and simple, which leads us into our number 1 pick.
Which, I think we both agree. Tomac.
Which means I have Dungey not even on the podium.
Yeah.
Not in top 3 in the points.
Weird. That's weird to say. But,
it'd
be weirder next year when he's retired and we're not talking about him at all.
I don't really care.
But so Tomac winning outdoors too. I think you can pretty much stamp that unless some wild happens at the end of Supercross here. But other than that, who's going to beat him?
So here's my thing on that, because obviously we both have him. I stamp 24-0 if he gets through the first 6 motos.
Mm-hmm.
Something wild happens. He's going to win the Supercross championship. I don't care what anybody says. More than likely going to win outdoors. About 99.99999% sure he's going to win outdoors. If he wins outdoors, he just re-signed with Cowie. The money thing has not really come out. I really hope that he got as much money as Kenny because he deserves it. Are we going to see, not knowing where Kenny's going to be next year, could we possibly see another Villapoto-esque like streak if he gets through outdoors and wins?
Maybe.
Wins Supercross and outdoors.
Maybe.
Because the last person to do it would have been Ryan Villapoto.
Yep.
And then the last person before that was Dungey, and then the last person before that was Carmichael.
Yeah, but there's a lot of X factors for next season because A, you don't know where anybody's going to land or who is exactly coming up and where from the 250s. B,
there's one guy, though.
You don't know where Kenny's coming back to. And C,
there's one guy coming over.
What is Timmy G going to do?
What is Tim Geyser going to do?
But that's for 2018 time.
I don't care. I'm hyped as shit.
We'll get to that on the 2018 preview video about silly season stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Any other final thoughts on outdoor 450s?
Yeah. Who's your dark horse?
Uh,
And once again, that's up for interpretation. But who's your dark horse out of all these guys?
I think Weston Pike.
Damn you.
He's gonna be obscenely good.
Okay, since he picked my guy, just so we don't agree, I will go Benny Bloss.
All right.
Because out of all these guys with everybody healthy, I don't think a lot of people, other than maybe Benny and his camp, would think with, Eli and then Barsha and Pike and whatever, I don't think a lot of people would think that he would get a top 5 with all of these guys healthy.
Yeah.
I think with all these guys, if they were, some of them were nagging, I think it would be very easy because he did it last year. But let's be honest, and I know that they have outdoor shows coming up, who really is going to pick Benny Bloss to be in the top 5?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I mean, man, I don't know. I feel like this outdoor season, both 250 and 450, has the possibility to be and I'm not going to say stacked, I'm going to say greatest season ever. Maybe not on the 450 side, but the 250s. And then with everything going on, there's so much shit going on this year, I feel like. Because last year coming in, we kind of knew who the big guys were going to be.
Yep.
We knew it was going to be Dungey, we knew it was going to be Roxon, and we knew it was going to be Tomac. Okay? So take Eli off the board. You have, what's Dungey going to do?
Mm-hmm.
Okay? You have Marv and Ando, who Marv all of a sudden just decided, hey, I'm finally going to start living up to my potential and beating Ryan Dungey and winning races in Supercross. Anderson, who's expected to do a lot, but has been underwhelming. Baggett is finally coming into his 450 career. And then once again, Cooper Webb, the most hyped dude in a long time to come off 250s, is coming up. I just feel that, aside from the Eli Tomac thing, that a lot of things that weren't expected to happen are going to happen this outdoor season. Because it's one of those, I just have this feeling that like somebody's going to come up out of nowhere that we're not expecting. I don't know who it would be, but damn it, dude, just, I don't know. Outdoors is the favorite time for me. So I just really hope that it's not, hey, it's 1, 2, 3, and then everybody just does what everybody's expecting to do.
Yeah. Hopefully it's exciting, like Supercross has been.
I just, you know what I mean? I don't want to
Yeah.
see, hey, Eli wins and Dungey gets second and Cooper Webb gets third, and that's every weekend.
Nah, it's boring. So, all right, cool. So that's our thoughts on the 450s going into the Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Outdoor Championship. So comment below with what you think is going to happen. Like, subscribe, comment, and share the video. Make sure you get the watches up. Like I said in the 250 video, we'll be back with Supercross videos next week to finish out the season. And then as soon as we kick off outdoors, we'll be right into outdoor videos. So you keep following the channel, keep subscribing, and thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next week.